What if Mother Earth and all her resources were able to be saved single-handedly by one source? Join us this coming January to be part of an important conversation to help create a sustainable world with one of Earth's most precious and powerful resources. In 2020, we were the only large-scale Midwest Hemp Expo with 55 speakers, over 1,000 attendees, and more than 70 exhibitors. This year, our expo will be virtual, even more far-reaching than before. We hope you will join us and the thousands of attendees to learn more about contributing to a more sustainable world with hemp.
My name is Dave Crable. I'm with iHemp Michigan. iHemp Michigan's mission is to educate, inform, and promote the research, development, and cultivation of industrial hemp here in Michigan. iHemp Michigan advocates for wellness in the planet and the people through hemp, and it begins with the farmer. So let's kick things off with some news. Who wants to go first, gentlemen, with a little bit of news update?
Well, a nice segue there to the farmer would be to go to Blaine. I'm not the farmer.
Farmer Blaine.
The
All
farmer.
right, well, I'll take the honors then today.
Okay.
So, not a whole lot of news today. Most of it's been kind of quiet this last week with the holidays and everything, as you'd expect. Of course, we all are. We want everybody to support while your congressmen are home about the legislation to raise the THC level to 1. So please take time and do that. Reach out to them, send them an email, call the office, whatever you got to do there to let them know we need that support for that. The other thing that's coming is the deadline is December 31 today to get your comments in on the U.S. Hemp Authority certification seal. So if you have any comments on that, today is the last day to get that in. So please if you're involved at all in the production of any of the cannabis, the CBD, other edible products from it, make sure that you might want to take a look at that and comment on that. Because going forward, we are going to have some kind of oversight certification process, just like all the farmers do with the fruits and vegetables. And this is a product that we ingest, and we need to make sure that we're putting out a good, safe product to everybody. So that's really about all the news that I really have. But I'm so grateful and happy today that we're able to close out the iHemp Hour this year with a good friend of ours, Jamie. But Mike, why don't you take it away and give us some news?
Yeah, a little bit from MI Marijuana Report. This will be of interest to hemp farmers if they want to experiment with cannabis. The DEA, after 15 years, takes them a long time, is going to be issuing permits for businesses, institutions, that sort of thing, to legally grow cannabis. Of course, you can do that in the state of Michigan, but I mean, this would be on the federal level. That would be used for scientific purposes, so they do research on cannabis. Not sure why they would be doing this, because everyone pretty much knows already all this stuff, but it's the DEA, right? So they're a little behind. And up to 15 permits are going to be issued. And I think the deadline is later next year, early in the spring. So if you're interested in that, details at mimarijuanareport.com. And I was mentioning to Dave that before we started, they just came out with some statistics on marijuana sales nationwide, and state and tax and the tax revenue that's been generated, which probably will prompt a lot more people to get into it. $17.9 billion in cannabis products were sold in the calendar year versus $7.2 billion the previous year. And it's now legal in some capacity in 37 states, adult use in 15. But apparently the pandemic, with people with a lot of time on their hands and no place to go, are buying cannabis. We had Andrew Brisboe on my show, 420 Post, which is a cannabis focused show, a couple of weeks ago. And he made some predictions that, well, right now he said that in the state of Michigan, in the first 12 months of adult legal use, we sold nearly $750 million worth of cannabis, and that he predicted at least twice that next year, and within 2 years, at least $3 billion in sales. So it's, and of course, 16% of that is taxes that go to the state, that go to municipalities. I don't think it's going to be, $3 billion and 16% of that. I'm not a math major, but it's certainly going to help, and perhaps it'll go into fixing our roads. Who knows where it'll go? But the industry is exploding. There's something like 400 provisioning centers that have applied for licenses, of which only about 100 are open. And only less than 100 municipalities right now allow adult use cannabis out of the 1,700 that municipalities in the state. So the market is poised for explosive growth, and some of the hemp farmers, if you want to take a look at that, you got some opportunities there. So I'll turn it back over to Blaine or Dave. Who's Blaine?
Oh, the math on that, Mike, you said 3 billion, right?
Yep.
Yep. So 3 billion, 16% is
Yep.
$480 million.
That's a fair amount of money. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's more than Dave makes in a year. So
It really is.
yeah,
Just a little bit.
a little bit of that. Okay. All right. That's all we have today. Just want, and I'm trying to be as festive as possible. Wish all you out there Happy New Year. God, 2021's got to be better than 2020, right? That's all I have to say.
Well, let's hope. That's for sure.
All
All right, Dave, why don't you take it away?
All right, I'd like to welcome Jamie Campbell from the Midwest Hemp Council. Jamie is one of the first people that in our little hemp journey began late 2018 that we connected with. Indiana and Michigan are kindred cousins. You know, when you go to an event in Michigan, or if you go to an event in Indiana, it's the same feel, and the people are all in. They want to help. You don't have that cutthroat situation. And Jamie's been the spearhead, the leader through all this. And Indiana has taken on some unique challenges that we haven't had to face in Michigan. So Jamie, why don't you, take her away, introduce us. What's up with Midwest Hemp Council? And
yeah, Jamie, give us a little bit of your background so people know kind of where you've been on this whole ride.
You need to unmute, Jamie.
Yeah, you're muted there.
All right, guys. Hey, thank you very much. It's so good to be here with you guys, because even going back to the beginning of my journey in 2012, once Marty and I connected with you guys, it really was symbolic of where we wanted this industry to go, which is collaboration. And as you guys know, my tiresome word, co-opetition. There's been a lot of upheaval association-wise in those organizations over the years, but the tide has changed. And I really want to thank you guys, because I think you have been instrumental in that. Rachel in Illinois, and then many across the country. We are very, we've tightened up. We've circled our wagons a lot tighter. We're speaking the same language. And we all realize that we're in this for the same reason. And one of the things that keeps coming up from a couple of people is one voice. And we're getting much closer, but really just am so glad that we have each other to collaborate, support one another, even though really our states obviously are very different in what we struggle with.
Yeah, that was really highlighted. I was on Rachel's meeting with the Illinois hemp growers. I'm a member of that association too, and they had the Department of Ag on, and we have a great relationship with our Department of Ag. So this is no criticism of our Department of Ag, but their fees are so much lower. It's like, how are you doing? It's like, it's a barrier to entry, and that's one of the topics we wanted to talk about. In Indiana, you have unique challenges with the smokable hemp. Talk about that battle. Where are we at with that? You're not allowed to smell to. You can smell it, but you can't.
Yeah, sure,
sell.
you can spell it.
Right.
Can't smoke it, but
Yeah. So
you can lay it. That's the carpet guy's line. Yeah.
Yeah. So Justin Swanson, our president, and partner at Bose Public Affairs Group, who has been incredibly generous to this industry since 2015 with his time, and Bose Public Affairs Group as well, led an appeal once our bill passed in 2019 that edited the language of the Farm Bill. It narrowed the definition of hemp for the Farm Bill, and then therefore eliminated our farmers' ability to move flower. So we did file in July of 2019, and our injunction was granted. So that was a good thing. It allowed the farmers to continue for that year. But as you guys know, that was overturned in August of this year, and right now, I believe the best way to describe it is we put in a request, a petition for hearing with the court, and we're waiting to hear back on that. But in the meantime, Indiana's General Assembly opens on Monday. So I think we're going to see several pieces of legislation come out that will address the smokable issue in legislation and hopefully wrap this up and clear that up, and also support what Rand Paul's bringing forth with the 1% and the testing. That's, again, I go back to the fact that finally we're really all on the same page with what we need to do. We've had so much regulation that is, counterintuitive, and it doesn't work for each state. And so I think we're drawing closer to that, which we need, because otherwise, how are we supposed to mature our supply chain if we cannot function on the same playing field?
Yeah.
So how much do you think by raising the THC level to 1%? I know I'm not sure what the stats are. I think Blaine has that. But in Michigan, what, 20% or so of our farmers had to burn their crops? Was that approximately right, Blaine?
Yeah, it might have been 13, was it?
Yeah.
And honestly,
13% in Iowa. Iowa's 13%. I don't know yet what has had to be done in Michigan, but I'm sure that Craig will update us with that information when we have when they're on the at the expo. But
I know in Indiana we were at around 20% that went hot
this year.
I would encourage everyone, and I know you guys, I think, have talked to him, but Philip at University of Illinois has that great database where they're collecting specifically the cannabinoid genetics right now to track the THC and so forth. And quite honestly, I don't have that off the top of my head, the website, but you just Google Midwest Hemp Database, and that's going to take you right to that website. And yeah, I would encourage growers this year to participate. If there's a bit, it's mutually beneficial to everyone.
James is going to cover that. James D. Decker is going to cover that at the expo too. But one of the things I was going to say is that I asked Craig about that when they had done the testing when he was on, and he said that if we raised it to 1%, there would only be 4 or 6 varieties that would have tested over that 1%. Mm-hmm. So certainly way many more people are allowed, would fall under that threshold and be okay.
Yeah, it removes a lot of risk for the farmers, and this is something we still have a lot to learn, and we need to find the right genetics, and we can't do it without some experimentation, and that to risk everything, it's going to inhibit the growth of the industry. Switzerland went to 1%. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but they just introduced hemp farming, and they allow up to 1%. So it's good to see those barriers starting to come down. And then in France, they're saying CBD sales are off the charts because France finally came out and said, hey, CBD is okay. It's not going to hurt you. I mean, we've heard that from, many of us in this, industry have heard it firsthand from, people who have, purchased a product for some type of relief.
Yeah, there was an interesting exchange between Rand Paul and Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell, of course, is opposed to raising the limit, and said, well, people will smoke that hemp and get high. And Rand Paul said, well, you'd have to smoke a joint the size of a telephone pole to get high, So, yeah, some of our politicians are not living in the present anymore.
Well, and Mike, like your original question about the 1% too, ironically, and I can't remember if you guys said this happened in Michigan or not, but we had fiber strains go hot. It was primarily our Gen Mall fiber, but you know, you're talking about a genetic that is not going to be ingested. It's fiber. And
Right.
so fortunately, as restrictive as Indiana has been, our Office of the Indiana State Chemist, which is our regulatory body, not the Department of Ag, they've been very generous in working. And so there has not been any fiber crop, you know, destroyed per se, because what you do is you cut it down and you red it, and it's not for ingestion. So they have been flexible in that respect. But still, even with the cannabinoids, and the reality is to get the CBD levels that we want, that are needed to provide the most benefit to our farmers, the most return on investment, that 1% will make a huge difference. And that, you know, that's where this started for me personally, is how to get a crop diversification and an alternate source of income into a farmer, or give a new farmer an opportunity. So we need to get those farmer-friendly regulations squared away for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with the decrease of the risk, you know, now we have more investment capital coming in to build out the infrastructure we need to scale this. You know, it's exciting. I don't know if we shared with you yet, Jamie, but we have Amway Corporation, which is interested in sustainable packaging and such using hemp. You know, they're going to participate in our business roundtable. Carhartt, which manufactures all kinds of textile products, you know, jackets and pants and all that. They're going to participate in our business roundtable. And Mohawk Paper, yeah, Mohawk Connects. They're putting in a big plant in Ohio, and you know, they're a major paper manufacturer using hemp. So it's good to see these things happen. And I saw a Levi's commercial this last week. Yeah, I'm sure they're getting their fiber from China at this point, but they talk about cottonized hemp and, you know, the benefits of it, you know, less resources and, you know, more strength. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to use hemp. So
It's funny, Dave, because you bring that up. So I started back in 2012 advocating for this, and I knew I was going to have a tough time, but I really underestimated how difficult it was going to be. Especially with Indiana Farm Bureau, I knew it would be, you know, for the first year or so, it might be difficult. But since the Indiana Farm Bureau helped lead the policy change in 2014 and the Farm Bill, which focused on, I mean, they actually had a hemp supportive policy, but they still would not speak out. And so it's been, you know, how do you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time. And that's what it's been. And now we have a great working relationship with them. And I knew the turning point had come. And actually, I think it was right before I came up to visit with you guys. I think it was in between our Hemp at the Crossroads and your Midwest Hemp Expo last year. And I met with Randy Crone, our Farm Bureau president, and the policy team. And within about 20 minutes, not only were we, you know, having a very just a real positive relationship and agreement on how hemp would play into this, but we started talking about carbon credits and carbon sequestration. And I got out of there and I was like in shock for 30 minutes that I had just left the Farm Bureau meeting, where not only were they, you know, we having a positive and a proactive discussion about hemp, but that we had shifted the discussion to carbon credits and carbon sequestration. So yesterday I was in a call with some conventional farming groups and greenhouse gas. Dr. Turco at Purdue is very interested in looking at the greenhouse gas aspect as well. So, you know, I think it's great. We've all been at this and going slow, but in COVID it's funny, we were having that conversation because in many respects, COVID obviously did some significant damage to the growth of the hemp industry, but part of me says maybe that timing was a good thing. Maybe it allowed everyone to kind of sit back, take a deep breath, and regroup and move a little slower as we go into 2021 and with more intention.
I haven't felt that at all. So it's not been a slow year. We do have James Vosper from the Australian Industrial Hemp Association. I just heard from him today. He's going to talk to that carbon credits. He's written some publications about, using hemp as a carbon sink, and he's going to participate in our expo too. Sorry, I keep wanting to get plugs for our expo into this whole thing.
You're weaving them in really good there, Dave. So,
And if
I
you're
thought
going to
that
get
was
plugs
exciting.
in, we should definitely get a plug in for Midwest Hemp Council then, because they're one of our big
Yeah.
sponsors.
Yeah, and in our expo hall, we keep getting more exhibitors, so the expo halls can be packed, with some really good content as well.
Good. Well, I'm really
Jamie.
glad that you guys are leading that. Last year's conference was wonderful. We unfortunately went ahead and made the decision to move Hemp at the Crossroads to December. But with the lineup that you guys are providing to lead us into the new year, I think it's going to be wonderful. And then, we'll all close out 2021 together as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Jamie, let's talk a little bit about, because I know you have a little bit of knowledge on where we're going with hemp for feed and food and that kind of thing. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I know the Hemp Feed Coalition has submitted their first project, and that was focused on hemp cake, I believe it was, as poultry feed. And really, we're very fortunate. Midwest Hemp Council member iHemp out of Montana has taken the lead on this issue. Principal Ken Elliott is the president of the Hemp Feed Coalition. Midwest Hemp Council has seated 2 people on the board, Jessica Scott and Carrie Pfefferberg. Carrie is a veterinarian with a couple decades of animal feed research science behind him. So, we see that progressing. It's just, unfortunately, and of course, Hunter and Jessica can speak much more eloquently than I can, but we aren't allowed to use the research that was conducted in other countries. It doesn't really apply. So we still have to start from square one. So if an animal is going into the human market and for consumption, then that's where it is not currently allowed. And then of course, when you talk about cannabinoid and not the hemp seed, then you've got a whole nother gray area, which is where we need the FDA and AFCO to step up very quickly so that we can smooth this pathway. But I'm excited. We are making progress. We are trying very hard to support the Hemp Feed Coalition and know that everyone else is too, because this is going to be a vital import to our growers. Not only does it give them that, like for example, if they can do dual crop, but a lot of our growers haven't hit food panel grade before, right? So if they're growing for human nutrition and they can't hit those panels, that still gives them animal feed as a backup plan. So that, I know that's one of I&D Hemp's big goals, is to make sure that they give their growers, their farmers, every opportunity to capitalize and get a good ROI on their grow.
You think
We've got a couple farmers that are feeding here locally, small, their own animals, that kind of thing. They're doing a little bit of that. So they'll have their own research. It's not part of the Hemp Coalition, but and Hunter's going to be on talking at the expo as well. So we got her scheduled. So we're looking forward for that. So
probably,
yeah, and I've got a few ton of that cake around if anybody needs any of that from making the oil. So.
Oh, really? Okay. I actually know there's a couple people that are looking here in Indiana to do that, and we're talking about one of the things. We had some people doing kind of what you said, they were doing it on their own, and I understand that, but we're also trying to encourage everyone to participate so that we have that data, so that we do it the way we need to do it for approval.
And I was still gathering names for any farmers that are out there that want to participate in this for the feed project. Where after the first year, we'll ramp this thing up and see where we can go with it. So if anybody wants to submit their name to me, or somehow get it to me, then I got that list going. We've got about a half dozen right now that are interested in it. So,
it's probably 2 to 3 years before we can really see this as a viable market.
So,
Yeah.
I was hoping not. But.
Yeah, unless we can get AFCO, to step up in a more aggressive manner. And I know in my conversations yesterday that, everyone is feeling very, optimistic that hemp will have a stronger role with the change in the administration because of its role with conservation and environmental opportunities. Seemingly some of our key legislators and such have had, been tipped off that this is where we're headed. So, and as obviously you guys are aware, the USDA grant that come out for supply chain and some other different things. So I think it's, even in talking with the grant writing team the other day, they're seeing so much more opportunity for hemp as well, opening that up, because all of us, we didn't have access to funding before the 2018 Farm Bill at all. So now at least we have that option.
That's good. Yeah, and the same thing with the is the ATSM and the there's two certifications for the hemp building code to use hempcrete, and I know the US Hemp Building Association's working on that. It's another whole market segment, for hemp fiber that is, it's being used now, but you have to have, you have to go jump through some hoops to use it, where, it should be part of the building code. And, it's, I can see by 2025, we're going to have a lot of markets open for hemp that are just, commodities, just crops that farmers are going to be growing at large scale. We'll have markets for it, I just want to reemphasize, don't grow it unless you've sold it, so we always try and encourage people to have a plan.
And
Yes.
one of the things too, the auto industry, it's only a few players right now, but more and more are looking at it. Porsche and BMW, some of the more exotic brands are already using hemp, not only internally for components, but externally as well. We've been trying to encourage, we had conversations with the city of Detroit there. I don't know where that stands. They haven't reported back to us, but they're interested in growing hemp, mostly for the remediation, because there's so many abandoned properties there and so much gunk in the soil and that sort of thing. But we're hoping that maybe we can get Ford, because Billy Ford's a real green kind of guy, get Ford involved in that, and that would produce a tremendous market here in the state of Michigan, to be determined yet. Maybe we'll know more in 2021.
Yeah, we've been in conversations with Debbie Malinsky. She's head of the plant science division, where Ford has a goal of an entirely plant-based interior. But I think it's probably going to be Rivian at our event. There's a new up-and-coming EV truck maker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are they using hemp for components now?
Yeah, and they're looking at doing more of that, of course.
Oh, okay.
And even hemp plays a role in battery technology, with the graphene and such. So hemp plays roles in a lot of industries.
Yeah, with the auto industry that we have, and I know you guys, we've talked about it before, we have an entity here in the state of Indiana, but it became cost prohibitive because they were importing hemp, and jute and flax became a much more affordable option. And with the change in global economics and with the transportation issues, that's really helped us to turn, to start pivoting towards domestic contracts and productions. I think a lot of these tier 1 suppliers are looking at it much more seriously now. So again, baby steps.
Yeah, we just need.
We're going to have Marty on in the future talking about the fiber, but that's pretty excited that they've been able to get the co-op at least moving down the road now. I'm looking at that. So yeah.
It is.
Yeah, that's great.
It is. And that's, when Marty and I, it's difficult because obviously things take financing to get up and running. But when he and I joined up, that's exactly what we were focused on, are the ability for small farmers to participate and come together collaboratively to maximize their ROI, so that the money wasn't getting, it wasn't going to a middleman, or it wasn't getting caught up in transportation issues. So very excited to work with them. And then Julie over in Ohio, hopefully they'll be expanding into a fiber and grain market and not just cannabinoids. You guys have a really close-knit group up there. So it's, we're getting there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I just, as an aside, from the Midwest Hemp Council perspective, we're still focused on regulations, and I've discussed farmer-friendly regulations, and of course the networking that we all do is so valuable. But we added a new board member, a new strategic partner this summer, David King of Hemp Product Store Brands. And without going too much into his life's work. His history is in shelf space and moving products into the marketplace. And so he's taken this challenge on, and we're seeing some real progress, and we're excited we're already working with other organizations in North Carolina, Montana, Kentucky to pull together products that will help us normalize that hemp product on the shelf, so that when you walk in, it's not the unique product, it is something that you see, and that the traceability is there, the quality. And we'll all be working together on that as we grow. But it's
The proper labeling, yep,
yes,
all those little details.
yeah, especially with the cannabinoids in the hemp seed, we know that traceability is going to be very key. I mean, that's the way the food industry is moving anyway, so we should move with them.
Yeah, and it gets back to that whole education piece. People don't know what they don't know. So when they go in and, well, I got this CBD, but it didn't really do anything for me. Well, you bought hemp seed oil. It's you didn't buy CBD. There's little things like that. We need more education out there.
Yes, yeah, it is ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really looking forward to the conference, and participating and supporting you guys as much as we can, because what you're doing, the work you're doing there, is invaluable. And I think it's really exciting because we're coming back out on the holidays and we're kicking off the new year.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can speak. I know I can speak for myself, but I think I can speak for others that over the last few months, everyone was kind of getting tired of sitting at the screen so much. But now we'll come into this with rejuvenation and excited to kick off the new year with new licensing and new education from all of your team and attendees.
Yeah, we really pivoted from last year. Last year was more about growing, and we were still trying to figure out all those basic questions. Where this year it's more, we're bringing businesses together, industry together, to take it to that next level. So there's still going to be that education and a lot on sustainability, because hemp's going to play a major role, as we move forward in that area.
I think that's appropriate, and I think you guys are stepping out in the lead there, bringing these players to the table, because they have to buy into this to provide that supply chain, right? They have to be there, and they have to be willing to invest. And I agree. We still are a little bit heavy on, our team is a little bit heavy on the agronomy, but the reality is our growers, all of our farmers, that's what they do. They know how to grow. We just need to keep working on the genetics and, sort of tweaking and fine tuning that. But at the same time, if we can't give them a solid supply chain, then there's no point to grow. So I love what you guys are putting together for the roundtable, and we will follow up on that. We've looked at doing one this summer. And so again, the collaboration and overlap and educating all of these end users, I think, is key.
Yeah, the big part of the roundtable is to find out, Amway Corporation, okay, what are their hurdles in their mind for us to engage with them and provide them, products. So we need to know what obstacles we need to overcome in order to make this happen. So, it's just a way to start that dialogue, because you can't overcome something until you know what you need to overcome.
And they certainly have the wherewithal. I haven't seen numbers for the last couple of years. Their annual revenues have been as high as 10 billion. And lately, I think they're more closer to 5 billion, but that's, that's a pretty big customer to be working with, right?
Well, $1 million here, $1 million there, pretty.
Yeah,
it's real
billion
money,
here,
right?
billion there. I mean, that's what Dave says, so.
I don't know who you've been talking to.
Or with smoking, maybe, so.
Hey, Dave, let's play if you got it queued up, let's play the song that we found for the expo this year. Share that with everybody.
That'll be good.
The hempy song.
The hemp.
Yeah,
I like it.
You haven't seen this, Mike, yet? Okay.
I haven't heard it yet. I'm looking forward to this. So.
All right.
Little teaser.
And I'm going to remember to click that little button.
Click
I
that
go to
little
share.
button.
I'm going to click the little button to share
click the
sound.
button.
That little button, Dave.
I don't know why they make me do that.
We're all technically challenged here, you know.
Oh, I'm learning. It just takes me all year.
I want to tell you all a little bit about a plant I know that can save the world. Grows long and tall and has flowers that can make your mind swirl. It's a funky plant with a fiber that is resistant to rain and mold. It's the strongest plant fiber known to man, the best rope you'll ever hold. Well, the pioneers covered up the wagon trains with a canvas made of hemp. And Washington and Jefferson grew it on their farms and said to make the most of it. The first stars and stripes were sewn on hemp, first Constitution too. It's used around the world for food, fiber, oil, medicine, and fuel. But if we press its seeds, we won't have no need for any other oil. We can make paints and inks, run our car, we'll grow back next season. It'll fix the soil, the most nutritious seed we can put in our mouth with omega-6 and 3. We can feed the world with the tree of life and live sustainably. But if we cut down all the trees, we won't have nowhere to breathe. Grow fields of hemp instead. We can make our paper, build a house from it. It's the goddess plant growing wild and free, living the way that we ought to be. Gonna leave my children a better world than my ancestors left me. Whoa, whoa. La, 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 la. Whoa. Well, the flowers of the female hemp plant make the best medicines on earth. Helps cancer and AIDS patients eat their food. Helps those with depression overcome the blues. Glaucoma, epilepsy, nausea, insomnia, stress, neurosis, psychosis, pain, PMS. All the studies have been done and all the doctors agree that they can't make money off this plant, you see, because it's free. It grows from a seed, wild and free, like we ought to be. You know, the future is growing in our own backyards. But if we cut down all the trees, we won't have nowhere to breathe. We grow fields of hemp instead. We can make our paper, build a house from it. It's a goddess plant growing wild and free, living the way that we ought to be. Gonna leave my children a better world than my ancestors left me. La 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 la. So in this modern day and age, when we seem to lack spirituality, this one single plant can bring us back almost 10,000 years in history. To the Shiva, Puranas, the Jesus, the Christ, to the Buddha, the pagans, the goddess, the light, to commune with all the animals, commune with all the trees, to realize the goddess because inside me is the earth is a mother. We gotta take care of the earth. The earth is the mother that gives life birth, and we can heal our relations with a single green plant. We can start right now. But if we cut down all the trees, we won't have nowhere to breathe. Grow fields of hemp instead. We can make our paper, build a house from it. It's the goddess plant growing wild and free, living the way that we ought to be. Gonna leave my children a better world than my ancestors left me. Whoa. Yeah, la, 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 la. Whoa.
All right.
Yeah. That's an old song that I found on the internet the other day, and it just was so perfect for our sustainability talk.
He hits all points. I love it.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
Very
Yeah.
fun.
One of our volunteers, Jackie Petzold, she's kind of our compliance person. She's like, oh, no, he can't mention all those medical ailments that it treats, you know. So
Not yet, anyway.
not yet.
No, that was fun.
Yeah, it's the word you use. It's very important. But
Dave, yeah, can you bring up the schedule that we've got set up for some of the speakers for everybody? Or not? Put him
No,
on a spot now. So
let's
if we
not.
can, it's all right.
Well, it's kind of under reconstruction. I could put the one that I'm not a big fan. We're redoing it, but I can tell you we can go. Yeah. So I don't have a visual that I'd really be comfortable sharing at this point.
Okay.
It's under redevelopment.
All right.
Well,
Yeah.
we could talk some more
can
about
talk
the
about it.
dates
So-
and how people can get involved and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, so after MDARD is opening up, we have an opening session kind of before everything starts, just for Michigan people. Then we have our welcoming event. Post a link to the website. Yeah, we'll do. And so Neogen, talk about Neogen, and Blaine, can you share that?
So yeah, so Dr. Jesse Miller, he's going to talk about regeneration of the soil using hemp for one of it, but also regenerating soil. So that's going to be a great talk we're going to have there. Let me get my list out that I have. If I have it here, I don't. James E. Decker is going to talk about the genetics part of things that we have, and the this year where they put everybody sending their samples in. He's going to do that. And of course, in the another part in the opening session with Craig Van Buren, he'll talk a little bit about the testing, where that went this year. I know that already some in Michigan now, if you are harvesting, you have to get the test done by the state now. No longer can we take the samples and send them in. So I'll talk a little bit about that. Of course, we've got Gary Schuler. He's going to talk about the where hemp's going to go as far as with plastics and the future for that, future with making material out of that. And then he's going to host the hemp roundtable that we're going to have with the business. Let's see what else we got on there, Dave.
Well, we're
We've got,
talking about Blastic Labs and Adam Rosenberg, young recent grad from University of Michigan, right your hometown there, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to talk about healthy and sustainable production of medicines from hemp. That's a harsh word to use. I don't know if we can use that, but that's what they're doing, because they're producing some different. Right now they're focusing on CBN. Vlasic is.
Peter Rosix, he's going to talk about responsive drip irrigation. We had him on earlier this year, and the irrigation system that they have designed, actually the plant demands when it needs the water. So the system's always charged. And so it's there. So it's a lot less water use, a lot more direct as the plants need it. Yields are better, things like that. So that'll be another great topic on that. Hunter's going to be talking about the feed, where we're going with the feed situation and test that's going on. We have that going to be one of the speakers there as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a great lineup, and we're adding more to it. Mm-hmm.
Eric McGee's going to talk about the hemp building industry. What we're going to need to see that built out. We have James Vosper from Australia talking about carbon credits. That's another avenue.
You've got everybody all lathered up here. They're all excited. They want to know how much and where can they find this information. Take it away, Dave.
Well, if they purchase an expo pass, here's one thing that we did a little different this year. With our virtual event, because I've attended a lot of virtual events, and it's available for a limited window of time, and then it all goes away. You buy an expo pass, you have access to the expo all year, to our expo. Right now, you save an extra $25 through today. It's $75 for a pass with the discount, or $50 if you're an iHemp Michigan member, because you save another $25 if you're an iHemp Michigan member. So the expo passes, if you just go to midwestihempexpo.com, you can purchase your access. And we also are using a forum. We've set up a forum within the expo because we wanted to keep all these conversations. Part of this networking collaboration is, these conversations we have amongst each other. There's always these little nuggets of information. So we didn't want that to go away after the expo. So if you have an expo hall pass, you'll have access to that forum all year, and you can collaborate on these different topics.
And if one wants to join iHemp Michigan, what's the fee for that?
$50 as an individual or $100 as a business. A business member gets listed in our business directory, which is our #1 search page on our website.
So for $100, they could
For the
join
whole year.
iHemp today and still get the $50, only $50 for the pass. So $100 out the door. What a deal, right?
150.
150. Okay.
Yep.
Got it. I'm
Yep.
helping you along here. You know, I'm a pitch man too. So
Yeah, we try to keep it as affordable as possible. It's
Yeah.
there is a lot of back end expense to put all this together. We don't have a big haul, but we just have lots of data and lots of development, to make it all happen.
Well, kudos for keeping it, accessible. I think that's really important, right? I know for some people, even if they can't, perhaps, you get pulled away for a little bit and you miss a segment that you want. So I'm really glad that you guys are doing that. That'll be very helpful.
Yeah,
And,
everything will be recorded and available on demand all year.
And not to mention, we've been doing this show since what, March or April, somewhere in that time frame.
Yeah.
Yep. Mhm.
And all those videos are available as well on YouTube. And it's been a real, for me, I'm a city boy. I don't grow. I smoke a little, but I don't grow. And so it's been a real learning experience for me. It's convinced me I don't want to be a hemp farmer because it's way too much work, so, but for those hemp farmers out there, or for those beginning hemp farmers out there, that's a valuable resource as well. That's already available online. Plus, you'll be able to attend the iHemp show, Midwest show here, and get even more information. What a deal, I think. Yeah.
Mhm.
And this expo is a 2-day. It's a Friday, Saturday. So it's a 2-day event, 22nd, 23rd. That's when it is.
January.
Of January. Yep. And then Saturday night will be the masquerade party where we're going to give away the Hempy Awards. So
So you have one of those handy, Blaine? As you have one on your desk there to show?
I have the awards that we're going to have. Yeah, I do have that.
No, we
Mike.
got it all going here, folks.
We
So.
got it. Because now I got to share my screen somehow, though, right?
Right,
Yep.
here's the
There you go, Dave. Yep.
First
So the
you
Hempies
get-
is a great way for anybody that is, manufacturing, making something out of hemp. Dave, may bring up the categories. So we've got the categories of food products, photos, personal care products, pets, innovations, miscellaneous, and what else we got? Textiles. That's the other one. Textiles. So you can read all about this on the website, but the innovation is we're nominating somebody, a group, individual, a product, or something that's been really moved the hemp industry forward this year. And this is for the 2020 years, what this is for. And then we'll have at the next Midwest Expo or Hemp of the Crossroads, where we're going to have next year. This will be an ongoing thing. We're going to try to continue this every year. So it's a great, it's $50 to enter. Photos, you get 3 photos for $25. For the innovations, it's free. No cost at all for that to enter somebody into that. And just a fun way for us to be able to help people promote their products. For $50, it'll be listed here. All the products, whether they win or not, will be listed on the site. Everybody will see them. We'll put a link back to your website or wherever you need to do to get people to go there to look at the products that you have, if that's applicable. So yeah, so just a great way and a fun way to do it, and then a fun way to finish off the evening. So we were going to do that as a live event in Lansing, but I think with everything the way it's going right now, we just aren't going to take that chance, and we're just going to do it virtual like everything else. And when we all get together, it'll be a great, great time, that's for sure. So.
And then, of
let's
course,
see,
we
Dave,
have the Outstanding Hempy Award. Well, bowl. It's not really a trophy, but
you have that bowl.
I do. I'm trying to share my screen, but you won't let me.
and of course, our friends in Indiana are eligible. You should explain that people in the Midwest can join, right? And participate.
Yep.
Right.
Good. Good.
Now, I guess I don't need, something. I didn't think about that. I don't need to share my screen.
Oh, you had
Well,
it
you
right
just
there
hold it
on
up,
your desk.
So.
Come on, I'm working on it, guys. I'm just a little slow. I'm just a little slow.
Ooh, look
No,
at
this is
that.
actually this is hemp wood. It's made down in Kentucky. Greg Wilson from Kentucky Hempwood Company. He's the one that makes these, and then we sent it over to another gentleman and he Squire, I was going to say his first name Squire Babcock, and he has a lathe and turns them. And so there's, if you can see it, there's a gold label on this one. This will be for the first, and then gold, silver, and bronze. And then we'll put a little plaque on there, and it actually is usable. Kind of nice. You can have a little cereal out of it or whatever.
Your hemp
just a little way
parts
to
or
put
whatever, you know.
Hemp
So-
grain.
Love it. That's a great idea.
jewelry bowl, whatever, But the idea is it's obviously made out of hemp. We wanted something that was made out of hemp to be the award. So, yeah. So we're looking for a lot of fun for that. That's going to be a fun time. Now, you only have, if you're going to enter that, you got to get your product to us by January the 9th is when the judges are going to judge this. So again, it's all on the website there. You send your information to Jackie. She's going to bring it all up to Lansing, and that is going to be a live thing that the judges are going to do. But so we're looking for a lot of fun for that. Just great, again, just a fun way to everybody to promote their products and get it out. So
Yep.
Well, yeah, and everyone works, they've been working so hard, especially this year. So it's really nice to be able to recognize them. And,
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for the way that the resilience and the quality of products we have out there. So kudos to bringing that to everyone's forefront, to their attention.
And you should mention, Blaine, that anybody, what are Great Lakes states are eligible to
Oh yeah, so for the Midwest, for this
Midwest.
year.
Okay.
For this year, the Midwest area we're calling is Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan. So,
Except for the one category, the miscellaneous, and that could be anybody, right?
Yep, from anywhere. And then the photo contest we'll also have a People's Choice Award on that one. So during the expo, you'll be able to vote on pictures and choose which one that'll be. So,
Yep.
And then we have an amateur and a professional category in the photos, as well. So.
Yeah. Thank you, Jamie. None of this would be possible if it weren't for our sponsors. So thank you to the Midwest Hemp Council, and also thank you to Veritas Labs in Lansing, a testing facility. They have facilities in Lansing and Bay City through testing. They're also sponsoring the event. So we came out of the gate pretty quick with sponsorships, that came on board because they saw what we did in January of this year. It was just this year yet.
Hard to believe, huh?
I know, isn't that crazy? So
Neogen's
we're
been
excited.
a big sponsor for us as well. Hemp Mines, they've also another sponsor, and then Sutton Wheat Farm is another sponsor as well. So we appreciate all them jumping on board and helping us out with this for sure. Yeah. And I'll go back to the beginning. I meant Jamie was at our very, very first meeting that we had in Michigan. So that was a fun time on that meeting for sure. So
Yes.
Were you in Flint?
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's where I met her. Yeah.
Okay, that's where I met you.
You didn't spend the time afterwards at the hotel because you went back to your house, and so.
Yeah, we went. Yeah, no, it was a great event. Met some wonderful people up there, and Marty and I, we just knew right away that this was going to be something we could all work on together going forward. So.
Cool.
All right. Anything else for the cause? Any last questions anybody has I'd like to put in? I want to thank everybody for this whole year attending and helping us out and being part of all the fun that we've been having this year too. So
look forward to seeing you guys in a few weeks. And, I would just encourage everyone that can to get onto the websites, get on and talk to your legislators, both whether you have state laws, but especially the things that are pending, federally. Rand Paul's bill. I wanted to add one of the questions. I think some people are under the impression that Rand Paul's bill requires certified seed, and that is not the case. And they're working on clearing up that language because we know we don't have enough seed that is actually certified yet to do that. But I've been fielding a lot of calls, and I know some other people have. But please check out this language and take the opportunity to reach out to your representatives and senators. Let's make this happen. It's going to be such a good thing for our farmers, from the testing to the 1%. We need this to clear the way to solidify our supply chain.
And this should not be a political issue. This should be a bipartisan issue because it's farmers. It's growing stuff it covers a lot of bases. The environmentalists would love it. Everybody loves it. So unfortunately, this stuff still gets hung up on politics, and maybe that'll change with the new Congress.
I agree. I hope so.
Good for people and the planet.
Yep,
Is it time for the Hemper?
Hey, it might be.
here
It
it
just might be.
comes.
Fun time.
Stand
That's what everybody's
by.
sticking around for. I know they do.
Okay.
All right. So Dave shamed me last week, and so I finally got some things going on this thing. Let's see. Here we go.
You
There
need
we
to
are.
wear that hat all day, Blaine, because it is New Year's Eve. So I think that'd be a good look for you. So,
I've got a couple of fun ones for that one too.
okay.
I should have worn them today. Think about that. So it's a pretty simple recipe. This is just a sugar cookie recipe. A friend of ours gave us a Christmas gift with sugar cookie in it. So it's just a sugar cookie recipe, an egg, butter. That icing didn't quite work, and you'll see those results in a minute here. And then I put a 1/4 cup of hemp hearts in it, and the chocolate I use for the eyes. But I'll give you my little tips later about how to make it a little better recipe. So really simple recipe. Mix it all together. 3 in the oven for 11, 12 minutes, and then Dave, you got the other picture.
Oh, that's not
Oh,
it.
that's a nice picture.
That's a different kind of picture.
That's
Okay,
better
there
than
we
the
go.
other picture. Yeah. So here's what they kind of look like when they came out, and then we have the Nightmare Before Christmas is what they kind of did. You get the other one, Dave, or not?
No.
The last picture? No. Okay. So here's what they look like. So they're little. If you can't tell, they're supposed to be little people with a little face mask on, and that's what they.
I wondered what that was. It's a face mask. Okay. I
That's
get
what
that.
that's what it's supposed to be. Like I said, it kind of
Oh, okay. Now I get it. All
for
right.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But they're still, but they eat the same whatever they look like, right?
You do, as you can see, there is one missing because you always have to
Oh,
sample.
well,
and
you
make
got to
sure.
sample it, sure.
So does
Yeah,
it give it kind of a nutty flavor?
It does. It's very, very good with that hemp parts in there, and healthy for you too. So
Yeah.
as well. But so anyways, I showed my granddaughter. I have so the tips on this now are to, instead of using the chocolate chips like I did, use M&Ms for the eyes, and then get a little better on the icing. The blue one on there, if you can see it, how thick it came out there compared to the other one. So that wasn't the right size. But luckily, we had some in the cupboard, and I was able to make them a little better. So, but they do taste yummy, and they are good ones. So
that's the important thing. So
there we go. Yeah,
Full glass of milk. That looks delicious.
absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm.
So I'm going to leave today, our last program that we have, with a little saying that I got from The Hobbit. I don't know if anybody's a Tolkien fan out there or not, but this is from the Fellowship of the Ring, the movie, and Gandalf is talking to Frodo, and so it says, "I wish it need not have happened in my time," says Frodo. "So do I," said Gandalf, "and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us." So with this holiday coming up, I hope all of you spend a wonderful time with your family. Remember to hug a little longer if you can. Yeah, raise our little glasses and enjoy. And let's start out 2001 with a great
there
time.
we go.
Thanks,
Let's
everybody.
say goodbye to
Thank you.
2020. Thank God. Moving on to 2021. Okay.
Keep that, Blaine. I like that. Thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody.
All right. See you next
Keep your head
year.
up and stick on the ice.
Happy New Year.
Take
All
care.
righty.
Thanks, Jimmy.